The NFL season is nearly here, and there are some really interesting on-the-field storylines, believe it or not. But unfortunately, we have been drowned by political nonsense and virtue signaling everywhere you look within the sports world and the sports media. And today, we're getting a report from Pro Football Talk, a very SJW Pro Football Talk, by the way. And they are talking about Colin Kaepernick and how there's no interest in Colin Kaepernick as the season approaches. And I say to that, of course there's not. Because Colin Kaepernick is a mediocre quarterback at best, and he brings a circus of nonsense with him. Therefore, the circus of nonsense he brings with him is not justified by the talent that he brings to the field. It's that simple. Pro Football Talk. Also, you had Roger Goodell out there virtue signaling, claiming how he was sorry to Colin Kaepernick, and he apologized to Colin Kaepernick, even though he admitted in that same exact interview that they reached out to Colin Kaepernick multiple times to talk to him, and he failed to communicate with them. But he still apologized like the beta he is, because of course he did. And then we heard reports that there was interest in Colin Kaepernick. There were teams that were interested. And most of us looked at that and said, okay, first of all, nobody's interested in Colin Kaepernick right now as a quarterback. They're not. But secondly, any of this interest is simply for social justice talking points. There's actually no real interest in Colin Kaepernick. But like I said in my video, put your money where your mouth is, Roger Goodell. Sign Colin Kaepernick. Have him be a starting quarterback and give him the biggest contract in the NFL. Prove he's the hero that you claim he is. And we all knew that was never going to happen. We knew it was not going to happen. And now here we have reports that it was all fake interest anyway, because of course it was. As the season approaches, there's zero interest in Colin Kaepernick. And then it says right here, in the aftermath of George Floyd's, I'm not going to call it that. In the aftermath of George Floyd's death, a sense emerges that Colin Kaepernick was right all along, and that the process of moving forward would necessarily entail putting Kaepernick back in the NFL. The momentum was palpable, at least for a while. No, it wasn't, Mike Floria. No, it wasn't. But you can continue to virtue signal, Floria. Per a source with knowledge of the situation, there was some fake interest expressed immediately after Floyd's death. Seemingly out of guilt, there has been zero interest expressed as to Kaepernick in months. At one point along the way, NFL media reported that teams had contacted friends and associates of Kaepernick, and that they would be contacting his agent when they get to the point where they're confident enough that they think they can work out a contract. So either they never got to the point of confidence that they could work out a contract, or it was all just more bullshit. It was bullshit, Floria, just like you are. The news that the Eagles will pay 41-year-old quarterback Josh McCown $12,000 per week for what amounts to a no-show quarantine quarterback job underscores the widespread lack of interest in Kaepernick, although the Eagles have made that arrangement with McCown because he's familiar with the offense from spending 2019 with the team. More than a few of the 31 teams could justify offering Kaepernick a similar emergency position based on the team's offense and skill set. The naysayers already say that Kaepernick doesn't want $12,000 per week to stay in shape as he is, and to be ready to play as he is in the event of a rash beer bug cases in the quarterback room. So why not call his bluff? Why not offer him a similar no-show arrangement on the practice squad of the Bills or the Patriots, given the offense they'll be running with Cam Newton, yada, yada, yada. So again, it's just Floria making excuse after excuse after excuse. Mike Floria, you are a beta, okay? You are a pathetic beta. You are a pathetic excuse for a man. Calling you a man is disrespectful to other men, okay? You are pathetic. Now, as far as Colin Kaepernick goes, Colin Kaepernick is an opportunist, okay? Colin Kaepernick at one point in time was a respectable NFL quarterback, and I was a fan of him. Maybe not as big a fan as Ron Jaworski, who said he's going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time after like 2 games. But I was still a fan of Colin Kaepernick. I liked him in San Francisco. I saw some very redeeming qualities as a quarterback. But unfortunately, After Harbaugh left, his safety net left, and he was exposed as a mediocre quarterback at best. He then got benched and lost his job. He then decided, because I can't get my job back, I'm going to become a fake social justice warrior. I'm going to pretend to care about things that I don't care about. I'm going to go from hanging out with porn stars and flexing my muscles and showing off my cars to talking about how oppressed I am as a black man in America, even though he was raised by an all-white family. But that's the Colin Kaepernick story. He's a fake victim. He brings a bunch of nonsense to the equation. He doesn't bring enough talent to justify his nonsense. Therefore, he is not in the league. It is that simple, and it is hilarious that now a lot of these owners that we knew were full of shit the whole time are now getting exposed for their fake interest in Colin Kaepernick because they never cared. And that is the entire point that we were trying to make. People with common sense, of course, when I say we. But it's just funny. Kaepernick's not going to be in the league. He's garbage. He's trash. And so is Mike Floria, and so is Pro Football Talk. So Mike Floria, why don't you hire some black people, give them jobs, pay them for their work instead of just getting on social media and talking about how much you love black people? Why don't you actually do something instead of say something? We know that's not going to happen, and we know Colin Kaepernick's not going to do anything either because he is a lifelong victim now. He is completely bought into the victim mentality, and nothing is going to change that. Now, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you looking forward to the NFL season? I am still looking forward to the NFL season, but it's going to be interesting to see how these players respond. And I'm going to do a full video on this, but, you know, the whole reported that it's going to be a black national anthem. If the players stand for the black national anthem and then kneel for the national anthem, wow. I mean, that is going to be such a detrimental blow to this league and the goodwill that they could have moving forward. It's going to be bad. It's going to be terrible. Yes, I am interested in Tampa Bay and Tom Brady and this super team that they have created. I am interested to see how Cam is going to be in New England. I am interested to see if Tua Tagovailoa is going to start playing at some point. I know Fitzmagic was just announced as the starter for the Miami Dolphins, but I'll be interested to see if Tua plays because Tua is my boy, being an Alabama fan. I want to see how Mahomes does. I want to see how Aaron Rodgers does. I want to see how Phillip Rivers does. There's a lot of great storylines in the NFL, and if we could get past all of the political bullshit, then maybe we can actually talk about football. Time will tell, but one thing is certain, that Colin Kaepernick is trash. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.